Imagine standing somewhere no wind will ever reach you. No waves, no rain, no rustling leaves. Just silence, so pure it feels like time has forgotten to move. Beneath your boots, the moon's dust stretches in every direction, untouched for millions of years. Above you, space lies open, an endless ocean of black velvet scattered with the cold shimmer of stars. From here, Earth hangs in the sky like a jewel. You can see whole continents in one glance, the curl of white clouds, the soft glow of oceans catching sunlight. But today is different. Today, something rare is about to happen, something you can only truly understand by seeing it from here, on the moon. In a few moments, the shadow of the moon will sweep across Earth, and you will be standing in the place that casts it. The event we call an eclipse, viewed from the other side. It's not just a sight, it's a feeling, a quiet reminder of how delicately the sun, earth and moon hold each other in an ancient dance. And as light begins to change, you'll notice details you've never imagined before. A quiet moonlit plain under your feet. The ground is a pale silver grey, catching the sunlight in a way that makes it seem alive, yet it never moves. Each grain of lunar dust has been here for eons, shaped only by impacts and the passing of time. You feel weightless in more ways than one, lighter from the moon's gravity, but also lighter in your mind, as though the silence itself has lifted the noise of Earth from you. The horizon curves closer than it does back home, only a few miles away before it falls into blackness. There's no air to soften the edges, no blue haze, just the raw, sharp meeting of rock and space. Every step you take leaves a perfect footprint that will remain for thousands of years. When you stand still, you notice something unusual. The shadows here are darker than any you've seen before. Without air to scatter light, there is no in-between shade, just brilliant white where the sun touches, and pure darkness where it doesn't. Your own shadow is a deep black cutout, almost unnerving in its perfection. It's in this still alien beauty that you wait, knowing the most extraordinary sight is about to unfold before your eyes. How stillness feels in the lunar night. The word stillness feels too small for this. On Earth, even in the calmest night, there is movement. Air brushing against your skin, the whisper of trees, the hum of distant life. Here, there is none. No sound, no breath of wind. Even your own heartbeat feels loud. Time stretches differently here. Without the rise and fall of weather or the shuffle of life, moments seem to stand like statues. You almost feel that if you looked away for too long, the universe itself might slip a few seconds forward without you noticing. The shadows don't flicker. The sunlight doesn't waver. It's as if you're standing inside a photograph that somehow allows you to move. And in that strange stillness, you begin to feel the weight of how old this place is, untouched for billions of years. You glance at Earth above the horizon, the only moving thing in this frozen stage. Its slow spin feels like the breathing of something enormous and alive. Soon, even that steady light will change. And when it does, you will see the moon's stillness break in the most delicate way possible. The strange way shadows behave here. On the moon, shadows are not soft companions, they are sharp and absolute. The line between light and dark is so clean, it feels like you could step over it like a rope on the ground. In sunlight, every pebble sparkles with a glassy glint. But in shadow, even the brightest rock turns black, disappearing into an absence so deep it seems to swallow detail itself. There is no blue glow from the sky to fill the darkness, because there is no sky. Your eyes take longer to adjust here. When you step from light into shadow, it's like closing your eyes. And when you step back out, the sun's light feels startlingly raw, unfiltered, almost too pure to look at for long. It's this precision of shadow that makes the coming event so extraordinary, because soon the moon's shadow, vast and perfect, will fall not here, but far away on Earth. And from here, you will see it stretch across oceans and continents in a silent sweep. The Earth rising above the horizon. There's a moment that never gets old, no matter how many times you witness it. Earthrise. Unlike the sun back home, Earth doesn't leap into the sky. It drifts upward slowly, almost shyly, revealing more of its round face with each passing minute. The first thing you see is colour, deep blue oceans edged by soft swirls of white. Then the greens and browns of continents emerge, their shapes instantly familiar even from this impossible distance. Cities are too small to see, but you know they're there, hidden in the glint of sunlight on land. As it climbs higher, Earth hangs there, perfectly framed by the blackness of space. No wires, no atmosphere to blur it, just the pure, floating truth of home. It's beautiful enough to hold your attention for hours, but today, something in its light feels different. There's a slow dimming at one edge, and a creeping curve of darkness that tells you the eclipse is beginning. A shimmering halo around its edges. As the moon's shadow begins its journey across Earth, you notice a faint halo outlining the planet. It's not the sharp white of sunlight. It's softer, almost like the glow inside a seashell. This halo is Earth's atmosphere catching the sun's rays, bending them just enough to light the edges while the center falls into shadow. From here, you see it as a fragile ring of color, gold melting into red, red into violet, fading into the blackness of space. It feels alive, this thin shell of air. You realize it's the same layer that carries clouds, birds, rain, every breath you've ever taken, and yet from here it looks almost too delicate to protect anything. The shadow in the center deepens. The halo grows brighter by contrast, like a crown of fire around a sleeping giant. It's a sight you could never see from Earth, and it's impossible not to feel both small and deeply connected to it. The way Earth's oceans glimmer from here. From the moon, oceans aren't just blue. They're alive with shifting silver, like liquid mirrors rippling under an unseen hand. When the sun strikes them at the right angle, whole stretches of water flash back light so bright you'd swear they were shards of glass scattered across a dark table. Clouds drift over them in slow, weightless swirls, sometimes hiding their glimmer, sometimes making it sparkle even more as sunlight filters through. You notice how vast they really are, the Pacific stretching so far it looks like it could swallow half the planet's face. From here, you can't hear the crash of waves or smell the salt, but you can imagine it. It's a strange kind of intimacy, to see the heartbeat of Earth's waters without touching them. And then, something begins to change. The edge of one ocean, bright moments ago, is dimming, as if someone has brushed a dark paint across it. The moon's shadow is now slipping over the waves, noticing the slow crawl of continents. If you keep your gaze steady long enough, Earth's continents reveal their slow drift. Not the geological kind that takes millions of years, but the rotation that turns the planet like a living globe. You can watch Africa slide into shadow, Australia drifting into the day, South America catching the last golden edge of sunlight. From the moon, this movement is mesmerizing because it's so smooth. There are no borders, no lines, no divisions, just colours blending into one another, like brushstrokes on a giant sphere. The thought crosses your mind. Every city, every person you've ever known is somewhere down there, moving with that slow spin, unaware they're part of this silent turning. It's humbling. And as you watch, you realise the continents aren't just turning toward day or night. They're turning towards something rarer, the thin, curved shadow racing to meet them, the sudden change in the sky's mood. There's no wind here, no clouds above you, and yet you can feel the mood of the scene shifting. The sun's light reflecting off Earth begins to soften, dimming in a way you can't quite measure but can absolutely sense. On the moon, the sky is always black, but when Earth begins to darken, that blackness feels deeper somehow, like it's drawing closer. Stars beyond Earth's glow start to peek through, their light no longer drowned by the planet's reflected day. It's as if someone is lowering the lights in a theatre, preparing you for something important. Your pulse quickens, not from fear, but from the quiet gravity of knowing you are watching an alignment older than human memory. You glance back at the horizon of the moon. It hasn't changed at all. And yet everything feels different, as though both worlds are holding their breath. A darkness curling across Earth's surface. From here, the moon's shadow doesn't appear instantly. It creeps, curling like ink in clear water, rolling over oceans and mountains without making a sound. You can trace its edge, sharp and perfect, cutting across the land at hundreds of miles an hour. It feels strange to know that the darkness is coming from beneath your feet. Right now, someone on Earth is looking up and seeing the moon, this very ground you're standing on, block the sun. And here you are, looking back at the shadow they stand in. The contrast is breathtaking. One half of Earth remains bathed in brilliant daylight, while the other is swallowed in a velvet gloom. And yet in that darkness, you can see hints of gold and crimson along the horizon. The sun's light bending, refusing to disappear completely. That darkness growing like ink in water. The shadow widens, thickens, spreads. From your view, it's not just crossing Earth, it's claiming it, painting a slow, deliberate circle across the surface. You can almost imagine the people within it pausing, looking up, wondering how brief or long this darkness will last. The oceans beneath it turn deep navy, almost black, their glimmer gone. Cities vanish from sight, hidden in the sweep of the umbra. Mountain ranges fade into obscurity, as if someone has drawn a blind over them. And yet, just beyond the shadow's edge, sunlight explodes against clouds and coastlines, more brilliant for being right next to such darkness. The boundary between light and shadow is thin, but from here it looks like two different worlds. Realizing it's the moon's own shadow, there's a quiet moment of recognition that darkness racing over Earth is you, or rather, the ground beneath you, the moon itself, blocking sunlight, casting a perfect cold shadow across the only home you've ever known. It's an odd kind of self-awareness, like catching your reflection in an unexpected place. You stand here in the light, untouched, while far away, your shadow swallows cities, fields, and seas. You can almost imagine the gasp from below as day suddenly dims. The thought that something so vast could come from something so silent feels strange. This shadow doesn't roar or flash, it just exists, stretching across thousands of kilometers with perfect precision. And with every passing moment, that shadow slides deeper into its journey, heading toward the point where light will frame it in the most spectacular way. Watching the shadow sweep over blue seas. The oceans beneath the shadow shift from shimmering silver to deep muted blue, and then to near black. Sunlight no longer scatters across the waves. Instead, they drink the darkness like ink soaking into paper. If you look closely, you can still see movement. Whitecaps flickering at the edge of the shadow, storm systems swirling silently, rain clouds curling above distant waters. But their brightness is gone, replaced by a hushed, strange glow that comes from the bending of light at the Earth's rim. It's almost hypnotic. The curve of the moon's shadow sweeps smoothly across the curvature of Earth, faster than any storm, yet gentle enough to feel dreamlike from here. Somewhere in that vast sea, a ship is sailing, and the crew has no idea they're being watched from 384,000 kilometers away. How sunlight bends around the Earth's edge. You've seen sunsets on Earth, that golden wash, the soft fade into night. But from here, that same light does something different. It bends. It clings to Earth's curve, wrapping around it like a thin thread of fire. That bending is what makes the edge of the shadow so strange. It's not a hard black. It's edged in copper, red, and gold, a halo that seems alive. It's Earth's atmosphere at work, bending sunlight just enough to let a little colour spill into the darkness. If you let your eyes follow that rim of light all the way around, it becomes a perfect ring, delicate, fragile, and impossibly thin against the black of space. That's when you realize the moment is about to shift into something even more rare, the ring of fire. A ring of fire forming in the blackness. It happens slowly, then all at once. The shadow reaches its deepest point, and the sun's light, blocked by the moon, wraps perfectly around Earth's edge. From here, it's a glowing ring, thin as a breath, bright as molten gold. It's not steady light. It shimmers, flickers, dances, as if alive. You can see the atmosphere's uneven layers sculpt the glow, making parts flare brighter while others fade to red. Over the oceans, it burns pale gold. Over mountain ranges, it deepens into crimson. This is the ring of fire that no human on Earth will see from this angle. Down there, they look up and see the sun's edges. Up here, you look down and see the Earth itself wearing the light. It's a crown and a wound, beauty and shadow locked together in the same breath. The eerie copper glow that replaces daylight. As the ring of fire glows, the rest of Earth inside the shadow turns an eerie copper. It's not the deep black you'd expect. It's a muted, smouldering tone, like embers under ash. This is the light scattered through the thickest parts of the atmosphere, filtering and softening until it paints the world in an otherworldly hue. You can make out the shapes of continents again, not in their usual greens and blues, but in this strange burnished light. Clouds, usually white, now glow faint orange. Even the tallest storms seem gentler under this copper veil. From here, it feels like watching a planet in a dream, the same Earth but shifted into some quieter, slower version of itself, these stars blinking into existence behind it all. At first it's subtle, a few faint points of light pricking through the blackness beyond Earth. Then more appear, as if someone is slowly turning a dimmer switch on the universe. The eclipse robs Earth's face of its usual glare, letting the stars take center stage. Some burn steady, ancient and calm. Others shimmer, their light bent and scattered by the thin halo of atmosphere hugging the planet. The sight is almost dizzying. The solid, living Earth in the foreground, wrapped in fire, and behind it, a field of stars so deep you feel like you could fall into them. It's here, in this quiet glow, that you realize how rare this alignment is, not just the eclipse, but your place in it. You are standing in the shadow, looking past it into infinity, the faint curve of the Milky Way. Slowly the faintest veil begins to emerge, the Milky Way stretched like a ghostly river across the black. Out here, without atmosphere to blur it, the stars are sharper, the dust lanes darker, the glow more alive. It doesn't compete with the eclipse, it frames it, a reminder that even in the middle of this rare event, the galaxy is still there, sprawling silently in every direction. You can trace the soft arc of its curve, knowing each dot of light is its own sun, with its own worlds. The strange part is how calm it feels. On Earth, the Milky Way feels far away. From here, it feels close, as though you could walk toward it. For a moment, the Earth below seems like just one of those countless points in the galaxy. And yet, it's the only one where you've ever taken a breath. A deep crimson spilling across the Earth's outline. The longer you watch, the more the colours shift. The golden ring of fire deepens, melting into crimson. It's as if the edges of Earth have been dipped in liquid copper, glowing with heat that isn't heat at all. This crimson light isn't from the sun directly. It's filtered through miles of atmosphere, each particle bending the light, stripping away the blues, leaving only the warm tones. It's the same reason sunsets at home turn red, but here, it wraps the entire planet's rim at once. Against the black of space, the effect is hauntingly beautiful. Earth doesn't look wounded. It looks alive, as though it's holding a fire in its hands. You can't help but think how fragile it is, how this glow is the product of a thin skin of air, one that could so easily be lost in the vast emptiness surrounding it. The strange feeling of looking back at yourself. There's a moment when your mind folds in on itself. You realize that somewhere on that glowing world is the spot where you once stood, looking up at the moon. Now you are here, looking back at the place that once held you. It's a strange loop. You are the watcher and the watched, the shadow and the light. Every memory you've ever had exists on that small, fragile sphere, floating in front of you. From here, you can't see the roads, the homes, or the lives moving beneath the shadow. But you know they're there, going on with their day, maybe even glancing at the eclipse without ever imagining what it looks like from your side. That thought lingers. That connection between the seen and unseen, between those in the light and those in the dark. How Earth's clouds turn silver in eclipse light. As the shadow holds, you notice something unexpected. The clouds at the edge of the darkness begin to shimmer. Not gold, not crimson, but silver, as if painted by moonlight. This is sunlight bent almost completely around the planet, skimming the atmosphere before landing on the clouds. They glow softly, like frost catching the light of a lantern. Storms become swirls of pale metal, their edges sharp against the dark seas below. Even the smallest puffs of cloud take on a jewel-like sheen. It's a quiet beauty, easily missed if you aren't looking closely. But here, without sound or rush, you have time to notice. The slow dance of light returning. It begins almost too subtly to notice. A faint brightening at the farthest edge of the Earth's rim. The deep crimson fades to a lighter gold, like the first strokes of sunrise touching the horizon. The shadow doesn't vanish all at once. It retreats in slow, graceful steps, each one revealing more of the seas, the clouds, the greens and browns of land. From up here, it feels like watching a curtain lift after the quietest act in a play. The change isn't just in brightness. The planet itself seems to breathe again. The silver clouds lose their metallic sheen, returning to soft white. The oceans find their deep blue voice once more. And in the silence of the moon, you realize this is the moment when day returns for those who stood in the shadow, watching the shadow leave as quickly as it came. Though the return of light feels slow, the shadow's departure is surprisingly swift. One moment it's draped across half the ocean, the next, it's a thin arc racing toward the far horizon. From here, it's like watching a tide pull away, leaving the shore bright and glistening. The continents it covered now glow in full daylight, the darkness no more than a memory to those below. You know that somewhere on Earth, people are stepping out from under it, squinting at the sudden return of the sun, talking about what they've just seen. But they will never know the view you have now, the shadow's graceful retreat against the curve of the whole world. It's a strange mix of beauty and finality, as if a rare song has just reached its last note. The thin blade of sunlight slicing through space. When the edge of the sun peeks past the moon from Earth's perspective, it's called the diamond ring. But from here, that moment looks entirely different. It's a blade of pure light cutting across the black of space. It spills into the shadow like water flooding a dry plain, erasing the darkness in a single, unstoppable sweep. You can almost see it spilling over mountain peaks, glinting on river surfaces, flashing across glass towers in distant cities. From the moon you don't feel its heat, but you sense its power, the way it takes back the world with effortless grace. The black fades, the gold blooms, and suddenly Earth is lit again. It's in this moment that you understand why eclipses are so fleeting. Their beauty is built from the fact that they can't last, the moon's surface glowing in contrast. As Earth brightens again, you notice something closer. The moon itself is changing. During the eclipse, much of its surface was lit by a softer, dimmer Earth light. Now the sunlight is returning full force. The pale dust at your feet turns almost white under its glare. Craters sharpen in detail, ridges cast long, precise shadows. It's as if the moon, too, was holding its breath during the eclipse, and now exhales into brightness. Even without atmosphere, there's a sense of warmth returning. The ground doesn't glow like Earth's oceans or clouds, but it holds its own quiet brilliance, a silent reflector in this great dance of light and shadow. The contrast between the two worlds feels sharper now, one alive with movement, the other steady and still. How lunar dust reacts to sudden light. If you kneel and look closely, you'll see something small but fascinating. The way the lunar dust seems to almost shimmer when the sun strikes it suddenly. There's no wind to stir it, but the tiny glassy grains catch the light differently with each minute change in angle. Some particles sparkle briefly, then vanish into shadow. Others glow softly, holding the sun's touch like warm embers. It's the kind of detail you could miss if you weren't paying attention. This dust has been here for billions of years, shaped by nothing but time and impact. Yet in the returning light it feels almost new, as if the sun has reminded it of its purpose. The quiet heat of sunlight on bare rock. There's no wind here to carry warmth, no air to soften the sun's touch. Yet when the light returns after the eclipse, you can almost feel it in the rock beneath your boots. It's not a quick, rushing heat. It's slow, deliberate. The surface drinks the sunlight silently, as though the energy is sinking straight into the dust and stone. In some places, the glare is so bright it makes you squint, even through your visor. It's strange to think that just minutes ago, this same ground was lit by Earthlight, a pale, ghostly glow. Now it is lit by the sun itself, raw and unfiltered, carrying across nearly 150 million kilometers without losing an ounce of its sharpness. You stand still and let the heat gather, imagining how long it would last if you simply stayed here without moving. Tracing the path where shadow once lay. Though the shadow is gone, your eyes keep following where it moved. You trace it across the face of Earth, from the oceans it swallowed to the continents it brushed. The path is invisible now, but you still see it in your mind's eye. It's like following the memory of a river that once cut through a valley. You can't touch it, but you know it was there because the landscape feels different somehow. The parts that were dark moments ago seem almost fresher, as if they've just been washed in light. From here, you can imagine the stories being told down there, people describing the sudden dark, the chill, the strange glow. And you realize that every eclipse leaves behind not just photographs, but memories that will never fade from the minds that saw it. The moon may be silent, but it has just written a story across an entire planet. Seeing Earth's atmosphere like a stained glass dome, now that the sunlight is flooding back, Earth's rim glows again, but not as a simple ring. It's a shifting spectrum, as if the planet were wearing a crown of stained glass. Blues fade into greens, then into faint yellows and pinks. The colours are never still. They shimmer, shift, and bend, shaped by currents of air and the scattering of light. Over the oceans, the glow is softer, paler. Over mountains, it deepens into richer hues. It's like watching a living jewel turn slowly in your hands. From the moon, the thinness of that glowing layer is startling. It holds all the storms, all the sunsets, every breath you've ever taken. And yet from here, it's no thicker than the edge of a coin. It's beautiful, but it also feels impossibly fragile. The colours shifting with each passing moment. Even after the eclipse, the light doesn't settle right away. For a few minutes, the colours around Earth seem restless, as though the planet is shaking off the last traces of shadow. The blue deepens, then lightens. The clouds catch gold, then silver. Over the poles, you notice a faint green shimmer, the whisper of an aurora still playing in the upper atmosphere. It's like Earth is painting and repainting itself with each rotation, never content to stay still. The colours are subtle, but you notice them because you have the time and the quiet to look. On Earth, these changes would vanish in the rush of the day. From here, they feel like a secret you've been allowed to witness. You almost want to freeze the moment, but the planet keeps turning. The silence so complete you hear your own pulse. As the light steadies and the colours soften, you return to noticing the thing that defines the moon more than anything. It's silence. It's so complete that you can hear your own pulse in your ears, a slow, steady drum reminding you that you are still alive in the middle of this still world. There's no wind to carry sound, no air to rustle, no water to lap against a shore. If a rock fell 100 meters away, it would land in complete silence. You could be the only moving thing for hundreds of miles in any direction. The quiet wraps around you like a blanket, but it's not empty. It's full of presence. The presence of space, of time, of the ancient ground beneath you. And as you stand there, it feels like the perfect counterpoint to the cosmic drama you've just witnessed. Remembering there's no air to carry sound. You're reminded again that here, sound doesn't travel. You could clap your hands, drop a rock, or even shout into the vastness, and the silence would not change. It's not that the moon is ignoring you, it simply has no way to hear. On Earth, you never think about the air being the messenger of sound. Here, the messenger doesn't exist. Every movement feels private, contained within yourself. Even the crunch of dust under your boots is something only you can feel through vibration, never hear. This makes the sight of the eclipse you've just witnessed feel even stranger. An enormous event, one that covered half a planet in shadow, and yet, up here, it passed in total, unbroken quiet. It's in that realization that you understand why the moon always seems so timeless. Nothing here interrupts its stillness. The vast black curtain beyond the glow. Beyond Earth's glow, space remains untouched. A curtain of black so deep it swallows everything except the stars. There's no haze, no fading horizon, just an instant leap from the curve of a planet into infinity. The Milky Way is still there, stretched faintly but sharply across the sky. You can see clusters of stars you never notice from Earth, each one steady and unblinking. It's not just a view, it's a depth you can feel, like looking down into an endless well. The strange part is how close it all seems. Without atmosphere, there's no sense of distance blurring the stars. They hang in the void as though you could reach up and touch them. That illusion makes you feel both larger than you've ever felt and smaller than you've ever been. Noticing meteors streaking in silent arcs, it's then you notice tiny flashes, quick white streaks cutting across the black. Meteors, small rocks burning away in Earth's atmosphere far below. From here, they appear as silent arcs, gone in the blink of an eye. Some cross near the edge of the planet's glow, leaving faint trails that curve with its rim. Others dart across open space, vanishing before you can follow them. You realize that these tiny events happen constantly. You just can't see them so clearly from the ground. It's another reminder that the universe is always in motion, even in places that seem still. You've just watched an eclipse, a perfect alignment, but beyond it, there are countless smaller alignments and collisions happening every moment. Here, in the quiet, you can watch them all. The horizon lit with an otherworldly blush. Your eyes drift back to the moon's own horizon. It isn't dark. The sun is still bathing the distant ridges and craters in a warm blush. Without atmosphere, lalit, the colours are sharper, almost unreal, as if the rocks are glowing from within. The light here isn't scattered like on Earth. It falls in straight, unwavering lines. Shadows remain knife-edged, shapes are crisp, and the warm tones look painted on by an artist who never makes mistakes. This horizon feels like the edge of a stage. Beyond it lies a darkness so absolute it's hard to imagine stepping into it. Yet here, on this side, the light feels solid, almost like a place you could lean on. It's a beauty that doesn't need life to exist. The return of Earth's bright face. When you look up again, Earth is no longer wearing the shadow you've been following. It's back to its full, brilliant self. Oceans gleaming, clouds glowing, land shining in sunlight. The eclipse has passed, leaving no visible scar. From here, you'd never know such a rare event had just taken place. But you know, and so does the moon beneath your feet. The memory of the shadow remains with you, layered over the bright planet now turning slowly in space. The contrast is striking. Moments ago, the world looked like a copper jewel wrapped in darkness. Now it's a beacon, lighting the void with reflected sunlight. It's almost as if it's trying to assure you, all is back to normal. How quickly life's patterns resume down there. From here, you can't see people moving, they're far too small, but you can imagine it. Just minutes ago, some of them stood in hushed awe, looking at a darkened sun. Now they've gone back to their day, driving, working, talking, cooking. The planet looks the same as it did before, yet you know that for many, there's now a memory etched deep in their mind. A moment when they looked up and felt part of something larger, even if just for a heartbeat. It's strange how life resumes so easily after a cosmic event. From here, you can't hear the noise of it returning, but you can almost sense it. A quiet hum in your thoughts, imagining the bustle starting again. And still, the moon remains silent, watching. The moon settling back into its steady path. The moon doesn't change pace. It never hurries for an eclipse, and it doesn't slow down once it's done. It just keeps moving in the same timeless arc it always has, locked in its rhythm with Earth. From your place on the surface, you can almost feel that motion. Slow, constant, as if you're gliding through space without lifting a foot. It's the same path it's traced for billions of years, each loop pulling the tides and marking the months back home. You realize that to the moon, the eclipse was just another step in a dance it's been performing long before humans ever looked up to watch. And it will keep dancing long after you're gone. Shadows stretching long and thin again. As the sun climbs higher in the lunar sky, the shadows around you shift. They lose the short, blunt edges they had at midday and stretch into long, elegant shapes across the pale dust. Without air to blur them, they remain razor-sharp. Each ridge, each rock casting a perfect, precise outline. They move slowly, almost reluctantly, as if they're reluctant to give up their place. It's a simple change, but after the drama of the eclipse, it feels like a return to normal. The moon is settling back into its quiet, unchanging patterns, and you are part of that rhythm now. The world spins, the shadows stretch, and nothing hurries. The cool blue glow of reflected earthlight. Even though the sun is shining here, you notice a second, softer light spilling over the landscape. Earthlight. The bright face of the planet above reflects sunlight back down to the moon, painting the ground in a faint blue sheen. It's different from the sun's light. Cooler, gentler, almost watery. It fills in the shadows, softening the edges without erasing them. It feels like moonlight back home, except now you know. This is moonlight, only from the other side. In moments like this, you realize how tightly connected these two worlds are, each lighting the other in turn, passing brightness back and forth like a quiet exchange of gifts. The delicate balance between light and dark. Looking around, you see it everywhere. The play between brightness and shadow, heat and cold, sun and earth. Here, there's no atmosphere to mix them. They remain separate, meeting at sharp, clean edges. This balance isn't just visual, it's the same balance that allowed the eclipse to happen. The perfect distances, the matching sizes in the sky, the quiet alignment of three bodies moving through space. It's delicate, but it's not fragile. It's been happening for billions of years and will keep happening long after. And yet, witnessing it just once feels like a rare gift. How your own shadow feels sharper here. When you glance down, your shadow looks almost unreal. Back on Earth, it's always soft at the edges, blurred by light scattering in the air. Here, it's as if someone has cut you out of black paper and set you against the dust. The edges are so crisp you can trace every curve of your helmet, every strap on your suit. Even the smallest movement shifts the outline instantly. There's no lag, no soft fade. It's strangely grounding. In the middle of all this cosmic vastness, your shadow reminds you that you're physically here. Your presence is etched into the surface, as real as the rocks under your boots. It's a quiet anchor in a place that otherwise feels weightless and infinite, the horizon bending in impossible ways. The moon is small compared to Earth, so its horizon curves sharply. From here, it feels closer, almost like the edge of a bowl you could walk to in an afternoon. That curve plays tricks on your mind. When you move, it seems to shift with you, revealing new ridges and craters in a slow, graceful reveal. It's a constant reminder that you're standing on a sphere, floating in space. The effect is even stranger with Earth hanging above it, still glowing from the eclipse. It's like looking at one world while standing on the rim of another. In that curve, you can feel both the closeness of the moon and the endlessness of everything beyond it. The soft pulse of the sun in the distance. From Earth, the sun can feel overwhelming, hot, blinding, constant. But from here, it looks smaller, steadier, almost like a lantern burning far away. You can't hear it, but you can feel its presence in the light it spills. There's a sense of rhythm to it, a quiet pulse in the way it casts light and shadow across the moon's surface. It doesn't flicker, but somehow it feels alive, like it's breathing light into the space around you. Knowing that this same star warms Earth and fuels its life adds another layer to its presence. From here, you see it not just as a source of heat, but as a thread connecting these two worlds. It's humbling to think you're standing in that thread right now. How fragile Earth looks after the eclipse. Now that the eclipse has passed, Earth glows fully again, but something about it feels different. Maybe it's the memory of seeing it darkened, or maybe it's the thinness of that atmospheric halo. From here, it looks delicate, a sphere wrapped in the thinnest film, holding oceans, forests, cities, and lives in place. You can see its beauty, but you can also sense its vulnerability. It's a world both immense and fragile, capable of surviving for billions of years, yet dependent on a paper-thin layer of air to keep its life safe. The contrast is impossible to forget once you've seen it from this angle. The slow spin revealing new continents. As time passes, Earth turns and the continents change in view. Places that were in shadow now shine in daylight, coastlines shift, clouds rearrange themselves in gentle spirals. You watch Africa slide away, Asia move into place, the Pacific stretch wide and glittering. From here, the rotation feels slower than it is. There's no rush. The planet turns like it's gliding on silk. You can trace the line of mountains, watch storms build and dissolve, follow the drift of entire weather systems. It's hypnotic, almost meditative, and you realize you could stand here for hours just watching it turn, clouds swirling in endless motion. From up here, clouds become the living skin of the planet. They roll, curl, and stretch in delicate patterns across oceans and continents. You can see whole storm systems twist slowly, their spirals so vast they could swallow entire countries. Over the Pacific, you notice long white streaks trailing from the edges of storms, high-altitude winds pulling the clouds into ribbons. Over land, they gather in thick blankets, hiding mountains and forests beneath a soft white cover. It's strange to think that while they look calm from here, some of those clouds are carrying lightning, thunder, and rain. They are silent from this distance, yet full of life close up. They move without pause, as if the planet itself is breathing in slow, endless rhythm. The memory of the shadow still in your mind. Though Earth is bright again, you can still see the shadow in your mind, the perfect circle that once crossed oceans and cities just minutes ago. You remember how it curled across the surface, dark but edged with fire. It's odd how something so temporary leaves such a strong imprint. Even as the colours of the planet return to normal, you keep comparing them to the copper glow they wore during the eclipse. It's a reminder that beauty doesn't have to last to matter. Sometimes it's the briefness that makes it unforgettable. The moon feels the same, steady, silent, yet forever carrying the memory of shadows it has cast for billions of years. The deep comfort of lunar stillness. After the shifting colours and moving shadows, the stillness of the moon feels almost like a return home. Here, nothing hurries. Rocks sit exactly where they've sat for millions of years, untouched by wind or water. There's a strange peace in knowing nothing here will change unless something from beyond arrives to alter it. The same view you have now could be seen centuries from now by someone else, and it would be almost identical. It's this stillness that makes the moon the perfect place to watch an eclipse, a steady platform for witnessing the dance of two other worlds. It doesn't intrude. It simply holds the moment and lets it pass. Seeing the sun fully now, without interruption. When you look away from Earth and back toward the sun, you see it unbroken for the first time since the eclipse began. It's bright, steady, and almost too perfect in its roundness. From here, the sun feels both distant and overwhelmingly present, a coin of light so intense it turns the moon's surface into a mirror of pale dust and deep shadow. You can't feel its heat through the vacuum, but you can see its power in every illuminated rock around you. It's easy to forget that this same sun lit the edges of the eclipse, painted the copper glow, and sent that ring of fire blazing across Earth's rim. Now, it simply shines, as if nothing extraordinary just happened. The surface around you warming evenly. The returning sunlight doesn't just brighten the moon, it warms it in a slow, even spread. There's no breeze to carry warmth away, so every exposed rock and grain of dust soaks it up steadily. In the shadows it's still bitterly cold, but in the light the ground begins to radiate a dry, silent heat. It's a reminder of how extreme this place is. Scorching in sunlight, freezing in darkness, with no middle ground. You stand there, feeling the contrast between the sun's glare and the cold hidden just a few steps away in a shaded crater. The long ridges casting knife-edged shadows. As the sun climbs higher, the ridges around you stretch their shadows across the dust like drawn blades. They're so sharp you could trace them with a fingertip. No blur, no fade, just pure black slicing through pale silver ground. Some shadows run straight for dozens of meters before bending around a rock or disappearing into a crater. Others break into jagged lines where the terrain is rough, each break revealing the exact shape of the ridge above it. On Earth, shadows soften with distance. Here they don't. They stay sharp until they end, as if the sun and moon have agreed on an unbreakable rule. It's in these clean lines that you can see the precision of this world. Every edge in perfect definition. Distant craters holding pools of darkness. Farther out, The craters look like bowls of ink. The sun can't reach their deepest floors, so they hold a darkness so complete it seems bottomless. Some of these shadows have been there for billions of years, never touched by light. Scientists call them permanently shadowed regions, and they might still hold ancient ice, frozen water older than human history. From here, you can't see the details inside, but you can feel the weight of their age. They are time capsules, untouched by the warmth you're standing in now. It's strange to think of cold and heat existing so close together, divided only by the angle of light. The far-off sparkle of Earth's cities at night. When your gaze drifts to the night side of Earth, you catch something delicate, tiny pinpricks of light scattered across the darkness. Cities, towns, the glow of human life seen from nearly 400,000 kilometers away. They're faint compared to the sun's brightness, but they have a warmth to them. You know that each one represents millions of people going about their lives, unaware they're being watched from this silent place. It's humbling, all of humanity's noise and movement reduced to quiet sparks against the black. From here, it's easy to imagine Earth as a single home, small and lit from within, wondering who might be watching from there. You find yourself staring at one particular cluster of lights and wondering, is someone there looking up at the moon right now? Could they be standing outside pointing, not knowing that in this moment you're looking right back? It's a connection you can't prove, but it feels real. The same event, the eclipse, has just linked two places that will never meet in person. The path of the shadow was the thread, and you were standing at one end of it. In a way, the moon is like a quiet mirror, reflecting not just sunlight, but the curiosity of those who gaze at it. The strange kinship between observer and observed. There's a bond in looking and being looked at, even if neither side knows the other. Standing here, watching Earth, you feel like both, the observer of a vast living world and the subject of its gaze. The moon has been in this role forever. It watches Earth endlessly, and Earth watches it in return. The eclipse was just a brief moment where that bond tightened, where one cast its shadow upon the other. Now, in the quiet after, you can feel that relationship more clearly than ever. The two worlds are different, but they are not separate. Feeling the pull of both worlds at once. Standing here, you're caught between two gravities, the moon beneath your feet and the Earth above your head. Neither feels stronger, yet both feel present, as if you're standing in a space where their invisible threads cross. It's not a tug of war. It's more like a balance, a calm agreement between the two worlds that you belong to both, at least for this moment. You can sense Earth's life calling you back, even as the moon holds you in its silence. The eclipse made that connection sharper. It showed how tightly these two worlds are linked, even across hundreds of thousands of kilometers. The moon's quiet acceptance of its role. The moon has no voice, no will that you can hear, but it plays its part with perfect patience. It moves when it's pulled, casts its shadow when the alignment calls for it, and then returns to its steady orbit without complaint. There's something comforting about that, a presence that doesn't resist, doesn't demand. It simply does what it has always done, keeping time for Earth's tides, marking months, and occasionally stepping into the path of sunlight to create moments like the one you just witnessed. It's the quiet kind of power, the kind that shapes without shouting. The sun, earth, and moon back in perfect rhythm. Now the three bodies have settled back into their usual pattern, the sun shining steadily, the earth turning in its light, the moon following its path. The rare alignment has passed, but the dance continues, unbroken. From here, you can see the geometry of it, the way each moves in relation to the others, as if guided by a music you can't hear but can feel in the slow glide of their motion. It's this rhythm that made the eclipse possible, and it's this rhythm that will one day bring it again. The lingering afterglow on the horizon. As you take one last look at Earth, you notice the faintest blush still hugging its edge, not the fiery halo of the eclipse, but a soft reminder that the sun has only just reclaimed it. It's a quiet afterglow, the kind you almost miss if you aren't looking closely. The colours are muted, fading into the deep blues of the oceans and the pale whites of clouds. It feels like the final note of a song, held just long enough to let you feel it before it disappears. A final look before the night deepens again. You know that if you stayed here long enough, the moon's slow rotation would bring night back to this spot. The sun would dip low, the shadows would stretch until they vanished, and the stars would take over completely. Before that happens, you take one last look at Earth, bright, whole, and moving steadily through space. The shadow is gone, but the memory remains, etched in your mind with the sharpness of a lunar horizon. You turn your gaze to the black beyond, feeling the stillness settle around you once more. The eclipse has ended, but the moon continues to keep watch, as it always has. And somewhere far below, on that bright world, someone might be looking up at this same moon right now. The first stars of lunar night. The sun finally slips below the horizon, and the first stars of lunar night appear, sharp and steady. Without atmosphere, they blink into view instantly, thousands of them, each burning silently in the cold. The ground cools quickly, shadows from the ridges stretching until they merge into the darkness. You feel the heat you carried from the sun's touch begin to fade, leaving only the quiet glow of Earth light to soften the scene. It's the same surface you stood on during the eclipse, but under starlight, it feels like a new place. Earth as a lantern in the dark. With the sun gone from your side of the moon, Earth becomes the brightest object in the sky. It hangs there like a great lantern, its oceans deep blue, its clouds shining pale white against the black. From here, Earthlight spills across the landscape, painting it in silver and softening the harsh shadows. It's gentler than sunlight, almost like the planet is returning the favour, giving the moon its own kind of daylight after nightfall. It's a quiet reminder that even in darkness, light finds its way across the void, remembering the path of the shadow. The stars and the stillness bring back the memory of the shadow's journey. You can see it in your mind, curling across the earth, sweeping over seas and mountains, leaving behind that copper glow. It feels like remembering a dream, vivid, detailed, yet impossible to touch. You know it will happen again someday, but never quite the same way, never with the same clouds, the same colours, the same angle of light. The memory becomes part of this place now, layered over the dust and stone like another footprint that will last for centuries. The moon returning to its long watch. With night fully set, the moon resumes its eternal vigil. It has no need to hurry, no thought of rest. It simply watches. The turning of earth, the drift of clouds, the slow dance of continents. From here, you feel like a guest in that watch. For a short while, you've shared the moon's perspective, seeing Earth not as a place you walk on, but as a moving work of art in space. The quiet is not empty. It's full of patience, the kind that measures time in centuries, not seconds. A final breath under the stars. You take in one last breath of the view, though here, breath is only a thought inside your helmet. Earth glowing above, stars spread like a jeweled net, the moon's surface stretching endlessly around you. The eclipse is over, but its mark remains in you, a reminder that even in the vast, cold silence of space, moments of rare beauty still happen, connecting worlds in a perfect line. You turn your eyes to the horizon one last time, feeling the quiet settle in deeper, and in that stillness, you understand why the moon never stops watching. The slow turn toward lunar dawn. Even in the middle of this deep night, you know the moon is turning. Slowly, so slowly that dawn is already on its way, though it's days from arriving here. The thought feels comforting. No darkness lasts forever here. On the far side of the horizon, sunlight is creeping back towards you, chasing away shadows you'll never see from this spot. The cycle is patient, unhurried, older than any story you could tell. It's this slow certainty that gives the moon its calm. It never doubts the return of the light, the steady heartbeat of space. If space had a pulse, you might feel it now. Not a sound, not a vibration, just a rhythm in the way light moves, in the measured paths of the stars, in the slow drift of Earth across the black. You realize that nothing here is truly still. Everything moves, but so gracefully it feels like stillness. The planets spin, the moon glides, the sun pulls it all together in a balance too vast to break. It's a heartbeat you can't hear, but you can trust. Earth's night blooming below. Looking back at Earth's dark side, you see its night deepen, blooming into full shadow. Cities glow more brightly now, their lights sharp against the black oceans. Lightning flickers inside storm clouds like distant lanterns. You can imagine the quiet moments happening down there. People sleeping, street lamps humming, waves lapping against dark shores. From here, it all seems so gentle, even if you know life's noise and chaos still hum within it. Night on Earth is different from night on the moon. There it rests. Here it simply is. The weightlessness of thought. In this silence, your thoughts float like dust in sunlight, slow, unhurried, free to drift wherever they want. Without the constant push of sound or movement, you find yourself noticing small things you might have missed. The way Earth's halo shifts slightly when clouds pass its edges. The faint shimmer of dust catching the last trace of Earthlight. The way the stars seem to lean closer when you look at them too long. It's a different kind of weightlessness, not of the body, but of the mind. Knowing this will happen again. The eclipse you saw feels rare, but it's not a once-and-forever thing. The sun, earth, and moon will align like this again, maybe months from now, maybe years. And when they do, the same silent shadow will cross the same glowing world. No two will ever be exactly the same, but each will carry the same quiet magic. And whether or not you're here to see it, the moon will play its role, Earth will receive its shadow, and the sun will keep shining through it all. It's a thought that lingers, gentle and certain, as you take one last look into the deep, star-filled night. The patient turning of the moon's far side. Beyond your view, the moon's hidden half, the far side that never faces Earth, is slowly rotating under the same starlit sky. You can't see it, but you know it's there, holding craters and plains no human eye has yet memorized. The far side has its own silence, untouched by Earthlight, bathed only in the cold glow of distant stars. It feels like a twin world, walking beside you but never meeting your gaze. Even without seeing it, you can sense its weight, its balance, its quiet role in keeping this dance steady. The invisible bridge between worlds. There's no structure, no beam, no walkway, and yet standing here, you can feel an invisible bridge between the moon and Earth. A link made of gravity, light, and the history they share. It's not something you can cross physically, but you cross it every time you look at the planet above, every time it casts its glow on the ground around you. The bridge isn't built from matter, but from motion, the same orbit they've traced for billions of years. It's a connection that doesn't need to be seen to be real. The gentle drift of lunar dust in low gravity. When you move, you notice tiny motes of dust lifting from the surface, arcing lazily before settling again. They don't fall quickly. The moon's weaker gravity lets them hang in the airless space between steps. Each speck catches the Earthlight for a moment, flashing silver before it disappears back to the ground. It's such a small thing, yet here, Without wind or sound, it feels like a kind of slow-motion poetry. Every movement you make becomes a dance between you and the dust, one that will leave traces for centuries after you're gone. The horizon's slow reveal of constellations. As the moon turns beneath you, new constellations rise over the curved horizon. They don't twinkle here, the stars remain steady, their light unbroken by any atmosphere. The familiar shapes, Orion's belt, the curve of the Big Dipper, appear sharper than you've ever seen them. Even the faintest stars, the ones you might miss back home, shine here with steady patience. It feels like the moon is slowly drawing back a curtain, showing you more of the universe 1 inch at a time. The quiet promise of another day. Though lunar night has only just begun, the promise of another day is already folded into the darkness. The sun is still there, just out of sight, waiting to spill its light across this ground again. The moon knows this cycle well, the long, steady nights followed by days of brilliant light. It has been keeping this rhythm long before the first eclipse was ever seen, and it will keep it long after. You feel a strange comfort in that, the certainty that light will always return and that the space between light and dark is where the most beautiful moments are born. The soft spill of Earthlight across the plains. Even hours into the lunar night, Earth's glow still reaches you. It's softer now, stretched low over the horizon, but it clings to the dust like a silver mist. Craters and ridges take on ghostly edges, their shapes outlined just enough to follow with your eyes. The light doesn't flicker, doesn't fade suddenly. It holds, steady as a breath, the planet above acting like a great lantern suspended in the dark. In a world without air, that steadiness feels like a gift. It's easy to imagine the moon cherishing this glow, a light borrowed from its oldest companion, the far shimmer of solar winds. Looking beyond Earth, you catch a faint shifting glimmer, not from a star, but from the delicate play of solar wind against invisible particles. It's a shimmer you can't hear or feel, yet it's there, a whisper of the sun reaching far beyond the planets. It's strange to think that these invisible waves touch everything, Earth, moon, even you, constantly, without pause. Out here, you can almost see them shaping the space between worlds, bending light in ways so subtle you'd never notice from the ground. It feels like a reminder that even the emptiest spaces are never truly empty. The ancient craters holding secrets of time. Your eyes wander to the oldest scars on the moon, vast weatherless craters that have sat here unchanged for billions of years. Each one is a frozen moment of impact, locked in place since long before Earth's first forests grew. From here, they're not just holes in the ground, they're stories, each telling of a rock from space meeting the moon's silent surface, carving its memory deep into the dust. Without wind or rain, those stories never fade. You realize the moon is a library without books. Its shelves are made of stone and its pages are shadows. The steady hum of cosmic order. There's no sound here, but there's a kind of hum you feel in your bones, the knowledge that everything is moving exactly as it should. The moon turns, Earth spins, the sun pulls them both, and the stars keep their places. It's not a frozen order, it's living, breathing, changing over eons. But in the span of a single night, it feels as unshakable as the ground beneath you. It's the kind of order that doesn't need to announce itself. It's just there, carrying you without effort, letting the vastness sink in. You stand still, letting your gaze wander from Earth to the stars, from the ridges near your boots to the deep, endless black beyond. The scale of it all presses gently against your mind, not crushing, just reminding you of where you stand in the great map of things. The moon is small, Earth is small, even the sun is small compared to what's out there. But in this smallness, there's beauty, because it's the same vastness that allows moments like the eclipse to happen at all. You let the thought linger, breathing it in like a last look before closing your eyes.